I'm Emily, and I am here with Maya Murphy's attorney, Eva Marie Franco-Fox. Attorney Fox practices at Maya Murphy's office in Westport, Connecticut, and is admitted to practice law in both Connecticut and New York. My question today for Attorney Fox is, I am getting divorced in Connecticut, and I want to challenge my prenuptial agreement. What do I do?
This is an important question, Emily, and again, the answer is so important for people to know. There are certain deadlines dictated by Connecticut law, Connecticut rules of practice, that the parties need to meet or comply with in order to properly challenge their prenuptial agreement or their postnuptial agreement. The Connecticut practice book dictates that the parties have 60 days from the time an agreement is sought to be enforced to try to invalidate the agreement or to let the court know that they wish to invalidate the agreement. So what does this mean? Parties have the choice to either seek to enforce their agreement, meaning they ask the court to find their agreement to be enforceable, or to seek to invalidate the agreement, meaning they ask the court, they try to challenge the agreement, they ask the court to find that their agreement is unenforceable because they do not want to be held to comply with the agreement. So if a party is seeking to invalidate the agreement, they have 60 days from the time the other party asks the court to enforce it. So it's important, in order for you to know your deadline to seek invalidation, to also know the deadline for the other party to seek enforcement, because certainly one of the grounds for seeking invalidation is that the other party did not properly or timely seek to enforce it. So the deadlines for enforcement are fairly early on in the case. They differ between the plaintiff and the defendant, but it's important to know that they are very early on in the case. The plaintiff essentially needs to seek enforcement within its initial paperwork that's filed with the court, and the defendant has 60 days from that time to seek enforcement. So what is the deadline for seeking invalidation? It's 60 days from enforcement. So if the plaintiff has sought enforcement, the defendant would have 60 days to seek invalidation, meaning 60 days from the beginning of the case, essentially. If the defendant has sought enforcement and the plaintiff wants to seek invalidation, the plaintiff would have 60 days from that time, or functionally 120 days from the beginning of the case. Now, these deadlines are critical to comply with. It's possible that a court would determine that you've forfeited or waived your right to seek invalidation if you have not complied with these deadlines. So if you're representing yourself, it's very important to become familiar with the Connecticut practice book rules and other laws that govern your case, so that you know that you've complied with these deadlines and any other deadlines that apply to your case. If you're represented by counsel, it's very important to let them know as soon as possible that you do have either a prenuptial or a postnuptial agreement, and that you wish to seek either enforcement or invalidation of that agreement, so that your attorney can timely comply with these deadlines. Absent a court order that extends or otherwise changes these deadlines, these are the deadlines that are imposed by the court that need to be followed in order to properly seek enforcement or invalidation.